Hey you guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about betrayal. All right, now I've addressed the topic of betrayal in at least a few other videos, but from different angles. In those videos it was more so to validate the survivor's experience, to let them know that they're not crazy, that yeah, other people are experiencing this and feeling this punch in the gut as well, and to know how betrayal factors in to the healing process is, chances are, one of the initial things that you're feeling um, throughout the abuse, honestly, and then even heavier post the final discard, or that final breakup. All right, so in this video I want to give you some more tools on how to process this feeling of feeling betrayed, what to do with it, where to go from there, type of thing. All right, now that I've definitely validated why it's understandable, of course, why you would have these feelings. Now, what did we do with these feelings now that we're feeling them, now that we're aware of it? All right, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, because a lot of times, basically, when we're dealing with a toxic person to begin with, our sense of self is what's being broken or being placed in shambles through these experiences. And this is what we want to correct after the fact, all right? But it's our attachment to those experiences. I'm trying to connect the dots here. It's our attachment to those experiences that's keeping us stuck, how we're attaching to it. All right, so we have to learn how to detach in a certain way. And I've made videos about attachment and detachment, and that is going to be like one of your best friends in life, because life is about changes. Life is ups and downs and experiences. Most people are temporary, so we have to learn how to have healthy attachments and detachments in life. All right, you can check out the videos that I've made on those topics if you're interested, and doing some shadow work with that. All right, but back to the issue of hand, because it is all still relevant. We're attached to this betrayal, and it's causing further devastation to our waking life, because now our peace, and we're off balance. Chances are not as productive, susceptible to falling into a depression, and these types of things that can manifest or come with that type of energy. All right. So the reason why I'm talking about attachment here is, let's just think of a boat. Boats, the boat would represent the human body. Now, it is a part of the human experience to be or to feel betrayed. Let's just put that out there. It happens to everybody, whether they are conscious of it or not. All right, so betrayal is a part of the human experience. If you live long enough, and some of us didn't have to live long at all. Some of us were betrayed as babies, like didn't even have to live that long, but keep living if you haven't, and you will inevitably feel betrayed at some point in time of your life. And chances are it could happen multiple times throughout your life, obviously, right? But, if we look at the human body as a boat or a ship, ships were made to sustain, when it's properly built, and God's creations are properly built, right? As far as the human body is concerned. So when the ship is properly built, it is made to sustain, certain kind of weather, certain types of waters, rough waters, rough waves, the wind, and all of these things is built to sustain these ups and downs. But what ends up making a ship sink is what gets into it, So if water gets into it, we're on an ocean, a sea, and all this water is getting into it, it's throwing the ship off balance, and then it's going to begin to sink down. So, this is very similar to the human psyche and what's getting into our mind and what type of perceptions and mentalities we're having about our experiences, right? And that's making us feel heavy and causing us to sink down, vibrationally, energetically, and that type of thing. All right. So, um, you know, causing us to feel stuck, or if not stuck, like I said, it's like a domino effect, and where we're feeling lower and lower and lower. So it's even worse than being stuck. We're getting lower and lower and lower. We're feeling worse about it. It's magnifying or growing, if you will, rather than, us finding our healing and being able to move forward, if you will. All right. So this is the dangers that betrayal brings into the pictures, and then our sense of self, like I said, as we attach to this thing and its growing picture and bigger. And we have something that I call tunnel vision that I talk about all the time on this channel, where we focus on our hurts and our pains. We focus on the act, and, all we can see are the negative aspects, and that's all we're focusing on. And the rest of our life starts suffering. And yet again, here we go in a domino effect. All right. But I talk about this in the other videos that betrayal a lot more in depth, so you can go into those. But in this video, you guys, I'm going to give you some more tips and tools or things to keep in mind when you are in the state of feeling betrayed that could, hopefully help you lighten that burden that you feel like you're carrying at the time, and the suffering that you feel like you're experiencing, and, the hurt and the pain, obviously. So the first thing that we need to do is learn how to change the narrative. All right. Changing the narrative is the story that we're telling ourselves. And I just uploaded a video about negative thoughts. So these videos are all connected in our emotional maturity, of course. But a lot of us, we're telling ourselves a lot of really toxic things. And we may still be, of course, attached to what other people have told us, of course. But we have to change the narrative. And the specific narrative is just focusing on, this person betrayed me. This person betrayed me. So now, a lot of this is going to be our ego involved here as well. Like, how dare they, especially if things were lopsided and you were so giving and generous and kind to them, and then bam, they don't appreciate it, and they turn around and do this. Well, let's take a look at that, because now we're going to be able to change the narrative based off of just what we know right then and there. You were all these things, you were putting positively into them, and they were giving negative back. So the betrayal was what? It was consistent with the energy that they were already in. This person did things that was at their level of awareness, that of their level of unconsciousness. Okay. So, we're dealing, chances are, with a low vibrational person. Someone that's not enlightened. Someone, that's obviously, they're going to be breaking their promises and all types of things. So can we be surprised when we consider the source? And I say this all the time. We're feeling betrayed by this low vibrational person. Can we be surprised at what this low vibrational person has done? And, once we take into account the source of who we're dealing with, we know that they could do this to anyone. And then we know that they have done this to other people. They're doing it to someone else now. They did it to someone before you. So, it didn't start with you per se. All right. So it's so important, you guys, to learn how to change the narrative, to consider the source of the person who's done this offense to you. All right. Another thing that we can do, you guys, is to understand that ultimately they're betraying themselves. Because yes, they did something to hurt you, but they're also perpetuating their cycles of toxicity, if you will, and ultimately is keeping them stuck in life. You on the other hand, you get to see them for who they are. And yes, it wasn't kind, it wasn't nice, it wasn't polite, it wasn't respectful what they did, but you get to choose then to say, okay, I'm in full acceptance of who this person is. I didn't appreciate it, but I don't have to subject myself to it anymore, right? And now I get to take my lessons and move on with my life while this person is, perpetuating the cycles of abuse with anyone that they can get their hands on to do it with, right? So ultimately, the joke really is on them. They're the ones actually betraying themselves more than anything. More than anything, you guys. So I definitely wanted to point that out. The next thing that I want to point out to you guys is to keep living your life. Keep living your life. It's so easy, when our energy gets down, because that's what feeling betrayed will make us feel, down and out. It'll zap some of your energy, take some of that zest out of you, and suddenly you don't want to get out of bed. All the to-do lists you had, it's like, it's an energy, it's a form of an energy vampire. Okay. And at that point, you're being swallowed by the situation, is renting a lot of space in your mind. So I want to challenge you to hop into your emotional maturity when those times come and intercept yourself to say, you know what, I may not feel like doing this, but I'm going to push myself to do it anyway. Oftentimes you will be happy that you did, and you will feel good. You know what, I'm going to get up and take a shower anyway. Let me just start with that. Then you get out of the shower, suddenly you're feeling a little bit more refreshed and vibrant. Okay, I feel better now that I took the shower. It actually woke me up some. All right, maybe light some candle or incense for your aromatherapy, put on your favorite lotions, like just really, put into yourself. And all those scents, I love the orange energy scent. I do recommend it to people. You can just get this at like Bath Body Works. It's like so refreshing. And you can get a really good deal on Amazon with it too. I think 3-pack for like 20 something bucks. Really good. But I don't want to digress too much. But do things to help you, to help your spirit and your soul be refreshed. I'm a big supporter of saging. You guys see that back here. I have my stick of sage. I use it every day. Crack the window. I welcome abundance and happiness and peace into my life, and I tell everything else to get away from me, okay? And I welcome the good things, love and all of that great stuff, all right? So, get up and keep living your life. Keep your commitments to yourself. Don't abandon yourself. Because we could easily abandon ourselves and just attach to the trauma, the betrayal, the letdown, the offense. And now that's our sense of self. And you are more than more is just not even a word, honestly. You are not a toxic relationship. You are not a toxic experience. Okay. We can take those experiences, like I said a little earlier in the video, and learn how to change the narratives. But yeah, I don't want you guys to get stuck and not living your life, because then it's a domino effect. And now you have more issues because you've taken all this time off of work, or your business is suffering, or now you're overwhelmed because when you took that time off, now all this stuff is piled up on you. And now it's creating more stress in your life, basically. Okay. So challenge yourself to keep living and not isolate yourself as well. All right. And the next thing, and I've made videos on forgiveness, but forgiving the person. And I know a lot of you, like, I got to get in the space with that because I don't forgive them. There's no way they can come back from what they did. You can forgive them, and it doesn't mean that they can come back from what they did. Forgiving them is a release. It means, you know what? I'm in acceptance. I'm out of denial of what occurred. I can recognize, okay, this person did me dirty. This person did X, Y, and Z to me. All right. And now I could release it. You know, I can't change their ignorance. I can't change them being unconscious. I can't change that they're a liar, a manipulator, that they're running game. You know, this is who they are. You know, this is who they are. So, you know what? I'm going to just write it off as, you know, this person, they're ignorant, you know, whatever it is. I'm writing that off and I'm releasing it. What do I need to hold on to their offense for? Okay? It's not going to change what happened. It's not going to change them. All right? All it's going to do is make me feel more weighed down. So this is why we let go. And part of forgiveness is allowing us to let go. It means that, you know what? I'm not trying to wrap my head around this anymore. I can accept it for what it is. I can't change what happened, but you know what? I can change how it affects my present and me moving on. So, you know, this is something that's good, you guys. All right. And I have a ton of video on forgiveness. So feel free to check those out if you are struggling with forgiveness. All right. And I just, you know what humbles me, and that just keeping in mind my emotional maturity and my intellect, my logic. It helps keep the bigger picture. You know, it's so easy to get up on a smaller picture, but we got to keep the bigger picture, you guys. I know that all human beings are not on the same level of intelligence and all of this and that. So, you know, we know there are going to be human beings out there who are going to do ignorant things. They're just going to do that. All right. It's a part of life, you guys. But what we can work on, and hopefully this video has helped you, is to just, you know, learn how to shake it off, you know, have a different narrative, if you will, to not let it intercept your sense of self. You know, that's the main thing. Your sense of self is protected. And I've said in many videos that we should all be creating armor. And that armor, it protects the things that only you should be responsible for. And that's your self-esteem, you know, your self-worth, your self-respect, your standards and your boundaries. You're responsible for protecting those things, creating and protecting those things, defining. And that's why the word self is in front of it. It's your self-esteem, not how they treated me self-esteem. It's what it shouldn't be, but it ends up being the case. All right. So let's continue to create that shield, you guys, by utilizing the things that I've talked about today. Okay. Betrayal, you know, it feels unpleasant initially, but then we can quickly intercept ourselves and get into our emotional maturity and our logic to lessen, you know, the residuals or any further blows of that situation. Okay. And honestly, a lot of times when people are doing these offenses, it's not even about you. It's their dysfunction. It's their shadow side. It's their darkness. It's their ignorance. All right. So we have to learn how to detach, you guys. All right. So I hope this video is helping someone. We went here, we went there, and we're just kind of basically having a conversation here. All right. So if you want to leave some suggestions down low for other survivors who are struggling with betrayal and things that have helped you get through betrayal and those times in your life, certainly feel free to do so. All right. But I didn't want to mention things that I've mentioned in the other betrayal, you know, like stress management. We have to become better at that. All right. When we're feeling stressed, learning how to release it, process it and release it. All right. Oh, my throat is feeling a little bit. I don't think I can make it to the end without drinking some of this. So lemons inside of the center part. And I had some fruit punch earlier, so it has a little tint to it. But there's spring water in there now. It still actually tastes really good. It's like flavored water to me because it still have a little bit of the juice in there. But either way, you guys, it's going to get better. And like I said in the other videos, time is a factor in getting over betrayal. All right. So we have to consider the source here and replay this video as need be. It's going to get better. You know, what grounded me so much, honestly, is when I thought about Jesus Christ. And I know some of you may not be Christians, and that's fine. But when I thought about the story of his life and how he got treated and the betrayals that he faced, you know, I'm like, if people can do that to Jesus Christ, of course they can do it to me and you know. And the people that betrayed him were many, but some of them were the disciples, right? And these are the people that watched him doing the miracles. They stood there and seen him doing this, and they still ended up betraying him, you guys. All right. So that was like when I changed my narrative to consider that aspect of things, it was like I never looked at betrayal the same again moving forward. It's like, who am I to stay in a sunken place over this? Like, look what happened to Jesus Christ. Look what happened to him, and he didn't do anything but good thing to people. So, you know, if someone comes up against you, attacking you, trying to throw dirt on your name, and just things that feel unfair, and a lot of worse devastations. You know, people have been sexually abused, all types of things, robbed, injured, like people, you know, all types of horrible things can happen. But when I think about that, it just makes me feel like I had some type of rite of passage, okay? But it's up to me to determine at that point what role and authority, which none, that I would give in my life in any shape, form, or fashion. All right. So we have to learn how to keep the right perspectives, guys. I say it over and over and over again. And it will get better once you get out of resistance and into acceptance. All right. It will get better. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. What they do to you is a louder display of them. You know, it puts them, it exposes them, honestly. It exposes them. You know, stay prayed up, you know, stay connected to the source, because they know your heart. They know the truth, even if man doesn't. God knows, the universe knows, and it has an interesting way of balancing things out. You don't even have to take it into your own hand. All right. You take yourself into your own hand with a lot of gentleness. All right. And with logic and with facts and with compassion, of course. All right. And everything is going to be all right. It happens to all of us. It's a part of the human experience, like I said. All right. So you're not alone. You're not alone. All right, you guys. So I'm going to just stop this talk here on betrayal. And let me know down in the comments if this has helped you at all. I will link my other videos of betrayal up here so that you guys can listen to it. It gets better. It gets better. And you're going to make it through this. You got this. You're a lot tougher. If anything, narcissistic abuse showed me I'm even stronger and tougher than I ever thought I was. I thought I was strong beforehand. Oh, I done got 1,000 times stronger now. All right, you're a warrior. You got this. You got this thing called life. All right. So until next time, you guys, continue to do the work. Never give up on yourself. Okay. If you're having a hard time, you can schedule one-on-one coaching with me. I do offer that. Visit my website, lakiacrawford.com. All right. And see all the different packages and options that you have available. Check the description below for anything else that I have going on. All right. All right, you guys. And until next time, please take care.